It's our anniversary today. It's June 2nd, 2020. And we have been married traditionally for 16 years. And we thought that we would take a few minutes to share how we prepared for our traditional wedding. I am Gunhutta on my Tsimshian side, and I am Ganachudi on my Tlingit, and my father's people and my grandfather's people are the Haida and Tsimshian, the Tequedi, and the Kagwantan Irish and English people. So that's me. Here's my husband.
I am Heatlish. I am Kagwantan Igolf from Kauknuwu, child of Kiksedi and Hawaiian. My in-laws are Ganachudi. They are from the Yanwikliashit of Tantekwan. And I am also Filipino, Tagalog, and Hawaiian.
My Tlingit name is Dachkilach, and I just want to say Gunchish to all of you for hearing our words. And we have a print behind us that was a gift from my parents and their 50th anniversary. They recently celebrated their golden anniversary, and the artist is the Haida artist Doug Yates, and he is currently living in Anchorage, so check him out. He's got beautiful prints that he designs, and he is always interested in commissions and happy to work with you. So shout out to Haida artist Doug Yates. Okay, so we prepared for our traditional wedding, and by traditional I mean it reflects our Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian protocols, traditional values. We pieced together our wedding ceremony, and the way that we prepared for it was, do you want to talk about that?
We called up several elders from Southeast, from each of the communities that we come from Metlakatla, from Ketchikan to Cake and Huna, and here in Juneau. Here in Juneau because this is the land of the Alco people. So we talked to Rosamilla here in town, my uncle Frank White from Huna, who's Kagwantan, and at the time was our Hitsati, and then Lillian White from Huna, who was Chuka and Cha, and then Ruth Demert from Cake, and several other elders and family members throughout Southeast to figure out how we wanted to host this traditional wedding.
So a disclaimer for our Ganachudis, our Tontaquan Ganachudi people, is that we are currently still, well, same thing. We're currently doing research on our protocols, and so to host a wedding was new for all of us, even though our Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian people have been doing ceremonies since time immemorial. And so we are picking up our responsibility to learn about who we are and where we come from. And so this wedding was our kind of like our boot camp into preparing for ceremony. And so, like Lyle said, that we reached out to lots of elders and put together our ceremony based on conversations with people that we respected, and we also sent out invitations to dance groups, because we figured, well, we know, everybody knows that traveling in Alaska is pretty expensive, and so we knew that the most affordable way to have our celebration, our wedding, was to do it around celebration time so that the dance groups would already be here for celebration. And so 2004, we managed to host our wedding on a Wednesday, which was June 2nd, right before celebration. And unfortunately, the ferry also broke down. So some of the communities that we invited weren't able to make it in. For example, Kikwan dancers, they were stranded in Cake and couldn't make it in until like a day after, I think, our wedding. So, but we were really fortunate to have the 4th generation dancers from Metlakatla,
The Tautakan dancers from Huna, and Hitakat Naksatietki dancers from here in Juneau.
and so we had our dance groups show up and join us and perform. But before that, we should probably talk about what our ceremony looked like before we got to the celebration time. So in preparation for our ceremony, it's no different than preparing for a kuik where you're removing grief. You have family members who put together jarred goods. You have people that you identify who are going to cook for you for the celebration. You also start commissioning friends and family artists to put together gifts that you're going to give to people for witnessing our celebration, our union together. And so our family started probably 7 to 8 months before our actual traditional wedding, reaching out to artists and commissioning them. So there was that. There was also, we have a wedding print that we gave out that was created by Tony Peel, and we actually found one of our original gifts that was still like rolled up and tied in a ribbon. And our matted and framed prints are at our offices, but this is from Tony Peel, and this is what we gave to all of our guests. And it's got our Tlingit names at the bottom. And so how to Tony 16 years later. That's so cool. Okay. We don't want to take too much more of your time, but part of our protocols that we followed was we received a button robe through the advice of Lily White. We received a button robe with no crest on it, no design, that would be used in our ceremony, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But before that, there were some negotiations that had to happen that I couldn't be part of, and Lyle's going to talk about that for a couple minutes.
So talk about some intense moments. To hear your family members come forward and talk about the things that you can bring forward to another family.
Our strengths, our talents.
Yes. And my family started talking about what I could bring to the family and help, and how this union could balance each other out. And Kolene's side of the family did the same as well. And
talked about what we could contribute to each other's families.
Yes. And then that went on for about a good 10 to 15 minutes. And to hear at the end of their final decision that we were suited for each other, one of the Raven ladies walked out and said it's time, and they escorted Kolene in. And at that time, they had me place a pelt on the floor so that she can stand on it. And Rosa Miller, who is Yaktetan from here in Juneau, officiated the wedding for us.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I missed out on all of the negotiations and hearing what our aunties and our uncles had to say to each other. But I'm really happy that Lyle got to witness that, and all of our guests witnessed what our families were saying to each other. And like Lyle mentioned, one of the ravens came out to bring me in, and that was so magical, by the way. When I came out, I was surrounded by raven ladies, and they walked with me all the way up to the front of the A&B hall, in front of everyone, to Lyle. And I was standing on a woven mat that was woven by Mary Terry Kennedy out of Metlakatla, and it was placed on top of a pelt, sea otter pelt. And once I stepped on it, Lyle carefully stepped on the mat next to me. And that mat that was woven for us, because of the timing of our request, instead of it being spruce root and tightly woven, which is something that comes from, I think, the Haida people. And the idea behind that is the tighter the weave of the mat, the stronger the mat is going to be. And symbolically, the people who were getting married would kind of do like a tug of war for like a moment to try to tear the mat. And so, but because we didn't have that kind of time, Mary wove with red cedar. So, and the design that she put into the mat were seagulls flying. And it was such a beautiful symbol. Anyway, we stood on it, and we had a ceremony that we had to do together. One of the Ocquan placed the robe that didn't have any design on it over Lyle's shoulder and over my shoulder, and as the Ock people chanted, we had to walk in a spiral until we got to the center, and we were facing the Ocquan. And at that moment, Rosa Miller had us repeat after her something along the lines of, we would follow each other until the end of time. And so beautiful. And after that, we were seated in front of everyone, facing our guests and dignitaries who were present. And we were served a beautiful meal, and all of our relatives from different dance groups started to perform, and gifts were gifted out. And man, what a magic day. It happened June 2nd, 2004, which was probably, I think, the last Wednesday that was free before celebration. And then I think the following celebration, SHI celebration, has been growing. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. And all of our dance groups, all of our families and friends who come in, they always say to SHI, please give us another day together. And so we just want to say to SHI for including Wednesdays for celebration. Now that's pretty cool. Anyway, we just want to say thank you for listening to our story. That's a new story. Maybe we'll try to put some actual characters to the story, and see, maybe next year that'll come out for next celebration. So we hope you enjoy your time with celebration and reflecting on 2018 and all the beautiful performances. And we thank you, and we hope to see you in 2021. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace.